KCAT News. I'm Bretton Bowman.
And I'm Austin Pfannenstiel. To start off this week, we have some announcements.
Sign up for softball is now. If you are interested, sign-up sheets are in the office.
From Coach Myers, any student wishing to try out for baseball or be a baseball manager this spring need to sign up in the office by today. There will be an informational meeting on Tuesday, February 16th during advisory. Auditions
for the spring play The Island of Dr. Moreau begins today, and we have extended into next week, Thursday, 4 to 8:30, and Friday, 4:30 to 8:30. And then Monday and Tuesday of next week, packets can be picked up on post sheets.
Save your dollars to buy your crush a crush. Crush cans are on sale next week from Monday to Wednesday during all 3 lunches.
Mr. Wildcat pageant is fastly approaching. If you are interested, sign up in Mrs. Berg's room 203.
If you want to buy a yearbook, they will be on sale for $65 until the end of today. Next week, the price jumps up to $70, so be sure to buy yours today. Also, senior salutes are still on sale until March 1st. Half a page is $130, and a quarter of a page is $80.
That's all for announcements. Now we're going to throw it over to Matt Temple for top 5.
Thanks, fellas. For bowling, the Beeler Crusaders traveled to Derby Bowl to face off against our bowling team. The Mulvane girls varsity team beat the Lady Crusaders 2,295 to 1,883. Meanwhile, the guys varsity topped the Crusaders 2,444 to 2,352. Good job. The bowlers will travel to Starlight Lanes in McPherson to bowl against host Bulldogs on Friday, February 5th. Then we'll turn around to compete at a Baker's-style tournament at Seneca Bowl Saturday, February 6th. Good luck to them. For girls basketball, they clinched 7th place in their own tournament, beating the Wichita West Pioneers 70-45 Saturday, January 30th. The girls also hosted the Augusta Orioles Tuesday, February 2nd, unfortunately falling short 26-54, but come out and support them against El Dorado starting at 6 tonight. For the wrestling team traveled to Winfield last Thursday, January 28th in a triangular meet against the host Vikings and the Augusta Orioles. They topped the Orioles 38-31 but lost to the Vikings 33-39. The wrestlers also traveled to Garden Plain Friday, January 29th, getting second place as a team, placing behind only 5A powerhouse Bishop Carroll. Individual medalists were Cole McEachern 4th, Uriah Pollard 2nd, Anthony Scantlin 1st, Bryce Parker 1st, Brent Cusick 2nd, Logan Elliott 1st, Kyle Dillon 2nd, Dalen Jorns 1st, and Lane Becker 3rd. The wrestlers will travel to Rose Hill for their biggest tournament of the year, Friday and Saturday. If you're not too busy, come out and support them. After a week off, the boys basketball team hit the court hard facing the Augusta Orioles, but unfortunately not coming out with the win, losing 65-31. But make sure to come travel to El Dorado as they take on the Wildcats at 7:30. Good luck. Well, that's all for the sports recap this week. Tune in next week for another edition. I'll send it over to Karsan with the number 4 story. Karsan?
Thanks, guys. I'm Karsan Turner, and with the number 4 spot, as you know, last Tuesday, February 2nd, was Groundhog Day. And the results are in. Punxsutawney Phil did not see his shadow, so spring should be starting any minute now. So I went ahead and came out here to see how much green was filling up the fields of Mulvane High School, and it looks like there's about nothing happening. So I'm not really convinced that Punxsutawney Phil is a very truthful groundhog, so we might have to look into getting a brand new one for the next year. That's all from me, Karsan Turner, KCAT News.
Thanks, Karsan. With Forensics beginning their first tournament on Saturday at Augusta, they brought home 16 medalists and 8 state qualifiers, which included Karsan Turner, Courtney Klaus, Dalton Brewer, Joe Ritchie, Troy Carlson, and Brady Allen. Now we move over to FBLA, which had their district tournament February the 3rd, and I caught up with Zeddy Allen to see how it went.
Pretty stressed out in the morning. We got here about 6:45, and it was an early morning for the rest of us, and we were all stressed out about getting our stuff ready and getting signed up for the right time. But other than that, there's no stress, and we just had fun and did the best we could. Participated in sports and entertainment management, and I also participated in help desk. I think the competition went pretty well. We had a bunch of good groups that went in, and we just competed the best we could at districts.
Wow, districts looked like it was a major success. Now we're gonna throw it over to Jordan Pulliam with the number 2 spot.
Over the past couple of weeks, some record-setting performances have been happening on the basketball court. On January 22nd, the boys basketball team took on Chaparral at the Roadrunner Classic. There, Jaden Price scored 15 free throws, breaking the record for free throws scored in a game. This record was previously set by Morgan LeClaire in 1987 when he scored 12 free throws in a game. Another record breaker happened on January 30th at the Wildcat Classic. By scoring 38 points, junior Emma Chambers broke the record for most points scored in a game. This record was previously held by Miss Kendra Banzit with 37 points. Congratulations to both of you on making it on the record board. That's all from me. Now we'll throw it over to Sean Benefiel with our number 1 story of the week.
Hi folks, my name is Sean Benefiel and I am live here at Ground Zero of the Pep Assembly. Let's ask Greg Hauser about what he thinks. Greg, how do you feel about this Pep Assembly?
Excited.
What are you most excited for?
Probably getting there.
Can I hit your drum?
Sure.
Let's go. All right, now we're about to go into the gym where the cheerleaders are hastily preparing for their very own performance. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Let's do this. And Lisa Meek. How are you prepared for this performance today?
Yeah,
What have you been doing to prepare?
practicing every day. Morning practices at 6 a.m. last 3 days.
Give me a Go Cats.
Go Cats!
I am back here live at the entrance of the gym where the Pep Assembly is just about to start. Let's catch one of these people walking in to see what they're ready for. I don't know. Lindsay Sowersby. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
What are you most excited for right now?
What?
What are you most excited for right now?
To get loud and cheer on my cheerleaders and classy cats.
What do you think of the Wildcat dancing right behind you?
I like it. All right, they're good.
Okay. Right now we're going to talk to Miss Woods, Stuco sponsor, about what we have in store for us. Miss Woods, what do you have in store for us for today's Pep Assembly?
Hopefully we'll get the crowd a little bit rowdy, and we're going to play a chariot game where we have to knock some bowling pins down, hopefully so we can help defeat the Augusta Orioles tonight and also the bowlers from McPherson on Friday.
All right. You heard it, folks. We're hoping to beat the Augusta Orioles, and also we're going to see just how pumped up our fans get today. Ready? Let's go. I am live here on scene, and the Wildcat fans are obviously hyped. He can't talk. He has a large head on. It muffles his voice. It was a good show. We're going to catch up with Miss Perkins about how she thinks this Pep Assembly is going. Miss Perkins, how do you feel that today's going?
Today's going great. I think it's a fabulous day to be a Mulvane Wildcat.
Isn't it always? Thank you. This is all I have live from the Pep Assembly. Back to you guys.
Great stories, everyone. Now it's time for Wakinyan and Abby's new segment, Following the Arts.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Following the Arts. Now, as you can see behind me, many students have partaken in the form of art here at Mulvane High School. Now, the one student we tended to follow this week was Maeve Hilgers. She's regarded for her acts in drawing and painting, as well as the unique act of hooping. We caught up with her to see her background as an artist. It's time to follow the arts. With me is Maeve Hilgers, who we've talked about. She has a lot of skills in different crafts, drawing, painting, sculpting, and hooping. So first off, I'm going to ask you, what inspired you to pursue art?
It's just kind of always been a thing that's in my life, mostly because of my family and just traveling different places when I was younger. I guess I was exposed to different things that were just not specifically here, even in Kansas. And a lot of people in my family are art teachers and they do art. I come from a long line of art teachers, so I guess that always kind of inspired me to do it myself.
Yeah. Now, what would you say you have a favorite kind of art, like drawing or painting?
Yeah, definitely. Throughout doing more art throughout high school, it's become acrylic painting mostly, and I like watercolor painting too, but definitely I think my strengths are after I get through the sketching and like the original sketch down. That's the hardest part for me, and then I can get into the painting, which is really like what I enjoy and what I feel like and just like kind of go to town on.
Now, do you want to show me a piece and just tell me kind of what brought it to fruition?
This, out of the 3 that I have, is the most recent. I wasn't like super happy with how it turned out, but it's still like I still really enjoyed it. I never really had I never was gonna put it in a show or anything like that because it wasn't super original. But I kind of just wanted to do it for myself. It's a watercolor, and the like requirement for the piece was it had to like show loneliness, and I didn't really want to do something that was like super sad and sappy. So I went ahead and did something that was kind of like more on the positive side of like this girl is alone on a mountain, but like still cool because she can just enjoy being alone. And then I added the umbrella because at the time I was really into the new Bring Me the Horizon album, and this is on the cover, and I felt like it went really well with the requirement of like loneliness, because the album has a lot to do with that and a lot to do with trying to be positive about like being alone and turning it into not such a bad, heavy thing.
How did you discover hooping?
It was about 2 years ago, I guess. It was quite a while ago, but just on Instagram. I think I followed somebody that did it, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And then you follow one person that does it, and you find a bunch of other ones. There's actually like a ton of people if you find the like right group of people, and there's tons that do it. So,
is there a lot of practice that tends to go into hooping?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't really seem like practice to me, but and I don't do it as often as I did like a year ago maybe, but it used to be that like every single day, just because I wanted to, I would do it for like 30 minutes off and on, or like an hour, just because I wanted to, or I would practice learning something new, and it was never something that like I felt like I had to do. It was just something that I wanted to do, and so over time I just got better and I learned more.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Maeve.
Yeah, thank you.
Speaking of Maeve Hilgers in art, she just won the Silver Key in the Scholastic Art Show last week. Congratulations, Maeve. That's all for this week on Following the Arts. I'm Wakinyan Shrubshall, KCAT News.
Wow, that sure makes me appreciate all the hard work that artists put into their projects. Now we're going to throw over to Austin.
Hello, and welcome to my segment where I give my 2 cents in 2 minutes. This week is school-related puns. Starting off with math, the past few weeks, only the math department was coming up with puns for this segment. I thought that was odd. And anyways, it looks like this week I found some puns for the other classes, so I will calculate her. Now, on to science. You know, you should never trust atoms, for you see, they make up everything. And there was this teacher that asked his students a question about trees, but they didn't know the answer, so he said, I stumped you. I had a lot of other science puns memorized, but I can't remember them. Apparently, they are gone. Okay, so I do not have a lot of puns for history, not much to say, other than it seems there are a lot of people that are always talking during social studies. Many students' grades in English are below water. The reason for that? They are below sea level. Now let's move on to art. Painting is dangerous, especially if you have too many strokes. And now here's a pun for band and music. Question is, what is the difference between a piano, a tuna, and a pot of glue? The answer, you can tune a piano, but you cannot piano a tuna. Some of you are probably wondering about the glue, which, by the way, I knew you'd get stuck there. And here's the last pun of my segment for today. It is a PE joke from Mr. Myers. Many insects are very athletic, but there is only one that cannot play football very well. It's called a fumblebee. If you have any clean puns, send them to KCAT News Mulvane or tell me verbally. Either way is fine, and they might appear on the show. That's all for this week. I will see you back here next Thursday. I don't know what it is about that guy, but there is something about him that just makes me trust him.
Well, that's all we have for this week. I'm Bretton Bowman.
And I'm Pfannenstiel. And thanks for watching KCAT News.